It's Tuesday on YourView. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Nima Akasha Ziberi.
Happy birthday to Murayo.
Happy birthday to Mo. It's your birthday now. Okay, the birthday. Hey, happy birthday. Hey. Happy birthday. Hey, happy birthday. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. It's also my mom's birthday today.
Yes.
Happy birthday.
Happy
She's
birthday.
75 today.
Aww.
Happy birthday to Yaka. Popularly known as Mr. Kabasharum, but popularly known as Mamaka. Happy birthday to you. Many more years, long life and prosperity to you. And I wish you all the best. How are you doing, Nima?
I'm fine. And I'm rocking one of my inheritance.
Mr. Kola's birthday is
Happy birthday, Mr. Kola.
Mr. Kola. I must not forget Mr. Kola.
Yes,
Mr.
our
Kola is one of
producer.
our long-standing producers.
Yes.
He's also, we share the same birthday. It's always important to remember him on this day. Happy birthday to Mr. Kola.
Is it Collier show? I'm trying to get the song.
Enrio show?
Enrio show.
Yes, yes, yes.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday, sir.
How you doing,
And
Nima?
RMD. Richard Mofe Damajo. So those are Murayo's birthday mates. As in that class
Yes,
like
so
that.
How you doing?
I'm fine. I'm grateful to God. I think I found closure. So on Sunday, we had our one-year prayers for my father. And initially, when everybody was coming in, I think they were like me. I felt like crying. I felt sad. I don't want to stay in the house. But before we're done, it was almost like we felt him. Because usually when we go home and when my dad was alive, everybody would leave there happy, laughing. The grandkids would have felt they took money. And we just sort of filled it in, sharing whatever we took. Whatever you loved of Daddy, pick. So I picked all his caps, most of his caps. I have the one I'll sleep with. I have the one I'll go out with.
For real? So you wearing his caps?
I love his caps.
Like
he took care of his
you
caps.
look like him. That's so true.
I do. I wore the cap and I was looking at what I was looking at.
Just pictures. You look like your dad.
I do. I'm a daddy's girl, full blood and everything. So I'm grateful to God. I'm really grateful to God. I love the stories that we shared. I'm just, I think the values that we inherited is much more than any property. Yeah. I'm so grateful to God for the kind of father that I have. I wish to be that kind of parent and even a much more better parent and a deliberate parent to my children.
How are you doing, Obiajalu?
I'm doing amazing. So I've commenced planning for Nurturing the Nurturer. Another edition is coming up on the 28th of August. And now this time around, we want to deal with inclusive education, which means incorporating children with learning disabilities and learning differences. Yeah. So I'm right now sorting out the facilitators, people who are working with children with learning disabilities to come and help. And it's not just going to be for parents and teachers, also for teachers and school owners, also for parents, because a lot of them struggle with not understanding how to handle a child that has a learning difference.
You need my child psychologist.
Please,
you need my child psychologist.
I'm in the educational sector, and I know that a lot of people are giving to the government differently. They want to train their teachers, they want to do this. People are doing so much to support the government, but they forget that where the government needs help is in special needs.
Special needs, so
they need help. But so if they're trying to have NGOs, they will just send books to Lagos State government. They will just say, come on,
what about those children
in training teachers on how to help them?
We need people to admit that not all kids
are the same.
They are much more
at the same level.
Each child has a difference. So I have a Brainy Educate. It's a child psychology center in Surulere that helps, and they send materials with children. They know modern techniques to handle it, and you need them. Yeah. You do need them, so I'll link you.
Thank you.
It's very important.
I really like the support.
There's something introduced in Edo says training at the right level. You're teaching at the right level. Because you realize that different children learn at different levels.
And they can all be in the same class.
So they can. So it's really important. I think YK is not in the building.
Yeah, she's here.
Yeah, I just saw her coming now. So we're going to go on a break. When we come back, we'll go with the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're going to start with the punch. Ohaneze insists on slots as 17 governors demand 2023 Southern presidency. FIRS secretly recruited 2,000 workers agency under financial pressure. Minister slumps at Bauchi event lands in trauma center. Lagos Maritime Union members in 3-day gun battle over money. Police Hunters comb bushes as gunmen kidnap Oshun and Edo travelers. PFN can tackle FG as bandits abduct 140 students in fresh Kaduna raid. Opposition mounts as National Assembly transmits PIB to Buhari next week. All right, so which story are we taking in?
This human interest, yes, maritime. Okay, yes, so sorry. Residents and traders of Second Gate Sinkan Port along Papa Oshodi Expressway have been living in fear because this two faction, Tao and Kunle's faction, who are supposedly the people in charge of collecting monies from charging cargoes, taking monies from cargoes operating outside the Second Gate area, have been fighting. So Tao used to be the lord and everything of that area, and he solicited the help of his friend to assist him in taking money. And later found out that Kunle, his friend, was, what will I say, taken away from him because both of them are taking. I don't want to say siphoning his money, but he was taking his own money, his own charges as well. So he decided to, to sack him and kicked him out of the area. And so Kunle went to partner some other guys and started an opposition to him. And now two of both sides are claiming authority to collect monies from cargoes operating outside the Tinkan Gate. I think both of them are illegal, and I think the state government is more than capable to deal with these two people rather than allow people in that area live in terror.
Okay, the major story, yeah. So Southern governors had a meeting yesterday in Lagos. They have chosen Lagos to be their secretariat, and they came to some conclusions. And they dropped a communique. So the meeting lasted for about 6 hours, and they came up with the fact that from September 1st, 2021, they are going to, set the anti-grazing law across states. And they also talked about community policing and the fact that the presidency should rotate between the north and the south, meaning that it's time for it to be zoned to the south. They also talked about the police fund. They mentioned that the money that was meant for the police fund should be divided across states, and they talked about how they would increase community policing to find security. But Ohaneze, on the other hand, is saying that, okay, we know that you have agreed that they were in support with the agreement of the Southern governors that it's time for the South to have presidency, but the South-South has had, Southwest has had. Now it's time for it to be zoned to the Southeast. That they supported the South-South at that time, so they are expecting a form of support now.
And they also rejected the 3%
for the PIB. And they also rejected the ownership structure of the proposed Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited. They're saying that this arrangements should not, and they said it should not be taken under the Federal Ministry of Finance and should be held in trust by Nigeria's Sovereign Investment Authority, which has this covers all states and all regions.
Possibly objecting what happened to Sunday Igboho, they also said that the chief security officer, which is the governor of the state, should be informed for any security operation is carried out.
Any agency carries out such an operation within the state, that I doubt. I think they should look at the legality of that. Also, they talked about the Electoral Act. That they decried the fact that the electronic transmission of electoral results in the Electoral Act was removed again. And I think,
I think that covers most of what was agreed at that meeting. Moving on to the nation. Southern governors call for power shift to South. Baptist school pupils abducted. Clark, INC, others knock PIB. EFC quizzes Oyo speaker. And clerk over 1 billion naira vehicle contracts. Super TV boss killed on the verge of business breakthrough. Who has that story?
Yes, I have it. I think it was a friend who was, saying that they said an undisclosed source actually was saying that he couldn't have been into drugs. That he was someone who was a fitness enthusiast. He was a healthy eater. He talked about healthy lifestyle. So that the only thing that they see is the fact that he was about to close a major business deal, getting up to, I think he had something to do with television and mobile, that they are going to be having about 50 million subscribers. He was just about to close that deal when it happened. So he is suspecting foul play. And the fact that they had taken autopsy, it's not even true for now. That autopsy has not even been done to ascertain how he died. But they mentioned that he was doing drugs is just a way to tarnish his image. That man is not like that, according to the story.
Okay, another story in the nation. EFCC quizzes Oyo speaker.
So the Nigerian Civil Service Union said that there was a discreet recruitment or secret recruitment of 2,000 workers at the Federal Inland Revenue Service has put that organization under financial strain. So they are saying that they had issues of paying salaries because of that secret recruitment. They had to get old directors and old staff members without, proper, following due process. And so they are not able to pay. But the chairman is saying that they have not complained so far that they are not able to pay, that is more like a rumor. So I think more investigation needs to be done.
I took the story yesterday. Armed bandits abducted 140 pupils at a school in Kaduna State. And the parents protested. They came out protesting the abduction of their children and asking that the government should quickly intervene. I don't know if the government has spoken. I didn't see that in the papers here, but I know that the governor of Kaduna State probably have said something about that so far.
So just as I said earlier, that the legality of governors demanding to know when state agencies, security agencies will come, I'd like to use that same as basis for what I want to say in Kaduna State. So Kaduna, what I see there is helplessness.
Yeah.
Governor El-Rufai should admit totally that security in the state is totally has collapsed completely, zero now, because secretly removing your child and not informing people that it's no longer safe to attend our public schools is something that, is somebody should be ashamed of. Yeah. I think the federal government should please admit that this state needs help and do the right thing by that state. We can't continue to have abductions. This was a private school. Yeah. We've had tertiary institutions. We've had adoptions in tertiary institutions in Kaduna State. We've had in secondary institutions in Kaduna State. Now, we can't continue to just expose Kaduna like this.
Yeah, but in this particular case, they came in the midnight and they went through the parameters. So they broke open the fence and got in. So parents, out of anger, paraded the school. They were there and saying that they needed help. But security officials, that's the military that came, were busy shooting in the midst of the parents. According to them, they said they expected them to have gone into the forest to chase the bandits. So a lot needs to be done for that.
Okay, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll move on to other stories. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Moving on now to Daily Sun. Southern governors draw battle lines with presidency. Apply same speed used in arresting Kanu to end banditry, other crimes, Shrinka tells federal government. Obasanjo denies forming new political party. Clark INC reject past PIB. And Anambra PD primary, Okonkwo asked supporters to wait for next line of action. So I have the Wole Soyinka story. He said quite a bit. And as I said, he's saying that the presidency should use the same speed that they used to arrest Kanu to also end insurgency. He specifically asked that, also said that if they disclose how Nnamdi Kanu was captured, that heads will roll. I'm now paraphrasing. What he was trying to suggest that Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped. Kidnapped, according to him. But that's what he thinks, that is not yet confirmed. And he's also saying that the federal government has also used kids' gloves in addressing issue with Mayeti Allah and other groups who have been speaking hate for a long time, but now using so much energy and speed to arrest Nnamdi Kanu. He also said that the Yoruba nation is not the right move at the time. I think I read that somewhere else. I'll come to that story in another paper.
Statement.
Let's pick another story in Daily Sun.
President Obasanjo's special assistant on media affairs, Kehinde Akinyemi, speaking on behalf of him, rejected those saying that he floated a new political party. According to him, he said that those people spreading the rumor should visit Yaba left. That he was in Afghanistan at the time, and that he's totally done with partisan politics, but his role as a leader in the country is not something that he's done with, and he's going to continue to express himself.
Okay. Let's move on to the Nigerian Tribune. Let's find out the story that we've not taken at all. Bandits kidnap 140 students. We talked about that. Yoruba Nation rally. Fala North launches legal battle over sales girl who was shot in Lagos. Parents cries out over 14-year-old SS1 students who died in boarding school in Abuja. Police foil attack on checkpoints, arrest 4 ESN and IPOB members in Imo. Kwara APC crisis over campaign fund gets messier. Minister collapses at event in Bauchi, rushed to teaching hospital. Invasion, FG should apologize to Igboho, says Shoyinka. Okay, who is the minister that collapsed?
Minister for State.
Katagun. Her name is Katagun. Yeah.
Yes. What
Minister
happened to
for
her?
State for Trade and Investment at an event in Bauchi just slumped, and she was rushed by the trauma and something response team to the hospital. But, you know, they've not allowed journalists to see her to understand exactly what caused the slump.
They said she had been holding her head, that she was looking as if she was about to collapse. And
She was tired?
She was tired. She'd been there all weekend. And then
From one event to the other. Yeah, but the death of a 14-year-old girl, Karen Hapuk Aondo Akbara, a senior secondary school student of Premier Academy, Lube, Abuja, died as a result of alleged defilement, beginning to generate controversy. So according to the mother, said that the child was defiled and the condom was found inside her, which led to sepsis. Remember that sort of story here? Yeah, which led to sepsis. And then the school is saying that, no, what happened was that she had eye issues and they took her to the hospital before the mother came to pick her up. But, you know, a coalition of gender-based violence groups are wading into it, and they're saying that they're going to organize a private investigation to find out what exactly happened, that they're not going to take this lightly. The school management also said they're also doing their own private investigation, so hopefully justice will be served.
Conclude on the report from Professor Wole Soyinka concerning Sunday Igboho. He was saying the federal government owes Sunday Igboho an apology, because this is a man who was trying to liberate his own people, and if he had indeed weapons with him, he was saying that these weapons are probably for liberating his own people, and that General T.Y. Danjuma had said that the military is not going to support you. The military is not fighting for you, that you, the people, must be able to protect yourself. So if you found arms in his house, it is possible he was trying to protect his own people. At the same time, he was also saying that how do you criminalize somebody who wants to secede? That's not even a criminal act in the books. According to him, he's saying that it was wrong for them to even arrest Nnamdi Kanu because of his agitation to secede. Yes, he agrees that there was a lot of hate speech that coming out of Nnamdi Kanu, and those were wrong. But the agitation specifically of secession in itself is not criminal.
Wow.
I just wanted to say about, I don't know that the DSS or whoever went to Sunday Igboho's house went with a warrant. If you are going to arrest somebody, you go with a warrant. That's number one. Yeah. You don't just invade. This is not a war times. Yes. Or at this time we are in war times. Yeah. That's when you go and start invading. So you go with the warrant. No, you can't just...
It depends. So I think they have covert operations where somebody has been highlighted and they will take years to trace you. They don't need a warrant for those cases. There's a way it's done. So I don't know.
Is there what again? He is saying that there were no arms in his house, that they were planted.
And
you see, because my own father was raided many times without warrants.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I know it is illegal.
Yeah.
It is illegal.
Okay, let's find another story in the Nigerian Tribune. Let's move on. News Direct. We get to News Direct today. I hope somebody read the story. Pipeline vandalism. FG loses over 200,000 barrels daily, spends 60 billion annually on repair and maintenance, says Alhaji Lai Mohammed. Total Energies invests $60 billion, restates commitment to grow Nigeria. Ripples over alleged Boa cement price increase. One fear dead, 2 injured in Ogun gas explosion. And Emefiele charges varsities to train students for entrepreneurship. Okay, which story did you take?
So the Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, had a town hall meeting, which he said was to give regular accounts of the administration's stewardship. And he maintained that over 200,000 barrels of oil was lost to pipeline vandalism on a daily basis. And the government spent 60 billion naira yearly to maintain those vandalized points. And he was trying to encourage people to understand that the properties of government is the properties of the citizens. So everybody needs to be aware and alert. We are complaining that we do not have enough resources. We do not have money. We have dwindling revenue. We have we don't have as much infrastructure for development. And then the little ones we have, people are closing their eyes to pipeline vandalism, railway equipment stealing, and all of that. So if we understand that this is our property, we will help to secure those areas so that the government would, use the money instead of, trying to repair the places that have been vandalized. They can use the money to finally improve on the infrastructure that we have in the country.
Okay, is there anything else you want to take in 9 News Direct? Nima, did you take another story there? Okay.
We didn't go there.
Okay, the Guardian, Southern governors want power shifts. I mean, these Southern governors,
What's happening?
we like the show of solidarity. You know, we understand the need to show that solidarity. However, is it constitutional? Those things, the declarations, are you making use of the national members of the National Assembly within your state? You have senators, you have lawmakers within your state. Are you engaging them? Because these are the ones that can actually make a difference. It's not about you making a declaration that's going to change things. But I appreciate, I think Nigerians generally appreciate that show of solidarity.
I think they've been pushed to the wall. It's why there is this, because this APC and PDP governors, it's not just one party, it's all the governors of the South who have come together. I think there was only one governor, it was Ayade, that wasn't there yesterday. And they're just trying to show that solidarity. I just hope that when it comes to election time and they decide to pick a Yoruba instead of an Igbo, that they still show that solidarity.
They should pick it in one voice.
But the Southeast have said it's their turn. So we hope that as they are drumming together,
they have said that
they are discussing.
It's not they have said. It is actually their turn.
Yes. So,
looking through how
it has happened.
So I hope that the Yorubas too will support the Southeast if that is who...
As they agreed.
Yes. And I hope that the Southeast will come together in one voice and present somebody. But that's where the issue is. So even if we want to support you, who are you bringing? And we always see that form of division. So if they can come together, I think they will have the support.
You see, when I was growing up, my brother, my sister, and I, we used to fight going on. And my father, he put matches together and he built something. And then he pulled one out and everything came crumbling down. And he told us that is how you will come crumbling if you don't support yourself. So that is why we built that closeness. I still miss my sister, years and years later, because we built... we could fight together, but you cannot enter our midst.
That's how it should be.
That's how it should be.
Well, that's all we can take on Front Page Review. I think we should remember that for democracy to thrive, we the people must be the ones to govern. The governance comes from us, and if it doesn't come from us, we have to be multi-ethnically focused, such that we represent everybody and we give everybody equity. And it's important that everybody feels they're part of this family called Nigeria. Yes. As I said before, there's no more minority. Everybody don't wake up. Everybody's eye don't shine. So there's no more you are more
minority now. Is it the Ijos? Is it the thieves?
No.
Who?
There's no minority. Back then, they used to think it was a minority group. There's no more minority. Everybody.
All of them they born.
Everybody
they born plenty children.
So let us come and have a proper conversation.
Everybody plenty. 200 million.
Okay, that's all we can take on Front Page Review. And we come back, we'll discuss our hot topic of the day. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So a video went viral of an ongoing road construction at Akoko Edo Federal Constituency of Edo State. The young man was seen lamenting over the weak quality of materials, design, in fact, the overall state of work done on that project. Now, this video went viral, and many of us have been concerned, not just about that video, but the fact that there are quite a lot of roads in Nigeria where there have been issues with maintenance. Even recently, several roads were saying that, though fixed by previous governments, has been dilapidated already. Now, what are your thoughts on this? This video that went viral, what are your general thoughts on this video? You can call us again on 081-270-53687, 091-390-76948. You can also send messages on YouTube and Facebook. We would love to read your comments. But I'd like you to just watch a clip of the video we're talking about.
name na Person Great. My name na Labalawani. Now we want to get Nigeria, we go work for all of us. Now all of us they fight for. Igara na my community, Akukwedo na my local government. Nigeria now we country together. So if we see wetin no good, we go talk about them. When we do Secretariat Road by the grace of God, when Edo State government do that Secretariat Road, I work for that Secretariat Road. And I know wetin I do there because na my community. If they say make I open reach, I go open everything because I tell the white man, Koro say, this one na my community. Wetin I fit do, we go help my community. I go do one. Today, that road, the better pass the whole road wey dey Akukwedo. If they wan count good road for Edo State, that local government road join am. Oga, make una see road wey they do. Why see camera no back? They don't ever do road where we say the drainage go stop at that dead end. Nothing there. This granite, the drainage where they see so. Concrete road no day. I don't know where they go carry plaster, the plaster wall. Road no day, nothing there. See the ground. They do and come reach there then. Nothing there. Carry the video, they come where you show me this thing. Waka they come. Wabe. Waka come, follow me, come. They carry my matter, bro. You go do road. If they want do road, after you pour rat slash, you go post them. See road, though. See my hand. Now the road where they do be this. See the road. Now me, see. Now my bare hand be this. See am. You they see am. This motor waka for this thing now. The very day go remove am. You they see am. Now my hand that take the open now. So now our community be this. Which kind of rubbish be this one? I know say they go say the one where our people do. Where our people do.
Okay, so I think the crux of that video is not just the major road. He went further to dig his hand into the drainage, the drainage wall, and we could see how it was falling apart. Now, one of the reasons why we have this kind of conversation is also to demonstrate to our leaders that times have changed. People record things. Nigerians will know. You know, back then, you give out a contract to XYZ person, you give out the contract, oh, we've done roads, we've commissioned this, and everybody goes to sleep. Today, Nigerians will say, that place you commissioned, we want to see 2 months, 3 months, they'll go back there. Is it functional? Is there equipment there? Are there doctors there? Are there, they will go back and check. We've passed the stage where you can just sell us stories.
Yeah, it's not that we didn't go back and check before. We did. But we didn't have social media. Now we have social media. Right. When we were growing up, when I was growing up, when you see something that is wrong, you will just complain amongst yourselves, and there's nothing you can do. But now there's social media, so people are more aware of what is happening. Because I will take our road on Ajumo. It's the road, Benga Daniel did that road many years, just before he left government. Today, you will not ever believe that road has had a center. And I remember when he was going to open the road, he opened it with fanfare, everything. Today, you will not believe that road has ever center. Wow. Dr. Abiodun just did one show and leveled the road. He didn't tie it. Rains have started.
He hasn't tied it. You know, you complained about it.
Nah, come and see it now.
Wow. And we're celebrating when you stay.
We're celebrating. Come and see the area now. Oh my goodness. Because they didn't finish it. So I don't want us to focus on only this one.
Cuts across.
Let's emphasize this one. Let's drag it.
I know you want to drag it.
No, we do. We have to. The Auchi, Bini Auchi Road. The last time I traveled, my parents, everybody will travel. Some people will go and come and say, they don't pump tar. And then next person is traveling home and they say, you know, my people used to travel home and they would take time to do prayers, do sacrifice, do celebration, kill ram, kill goats before they go on the roads because of the kind of accidents that we suffer on that road. Now, this is in Igara. This is how they do the roads there. Oh. The guy was in that video talking about the material. You want to do a drainage. A drainage, by my layman standard of drainages, requires not only concrete, it requires iron rods that you would lay first so that you have solid wall so that no matter the flood of water, because water in itself, it won't cave in. But this is how they do roads. That you now find drainages all covered now. Everywhere is flooding. They enjoy for where we did for Lagos, where we they complain say drainage block. If you reach some people's places, you cannot talk. In Benin alone now, flood is dividing roads, dividing people's houses. And it has been from time immemorial, where you have roads caving in. Now, the material on that road is not just, normally you should have it, first of all, what's it called, graded. Put your granite and level up before you now go and pour asphalt and whatever or tar. But look at this one, they'll just come. It's almost like they paint the road black, paint the gutter grey, and they will come and snap picture. It's for photo ops.
I just feel that we like to cheat ourselves. And the way the world is going now, if you're not ready to serve, please don't come
bother.
out. Don't bother. Let's find people who are ready to serve the nation. When you ask them now, they'll say, it's probably the contractors. Why don't you investigate? Take it as your private business. If I have a plumber come to my house to do work, I go and check. Before I pay you, before I complete my payment, I go and check to be sure that you have done what is expected. Then you people travel. You go around the world. You don't check the best practices. You don't check how things are done properly, using the right material for your own people. You go there, you bring tax back to us. We struggle to pay the tax, and yet you will not give us the best. It's wickedness.
I was remembering when some of my husband were talking about this, and when we went to France for our honeymoon, we were walking on the road, and we saw them doing the road. The asphalt level, YK, I'm telling you, it was about 3 feet or so.
Imagine.
Asphalt, that's the black thing that they pour.
Imagine.
That about 3 feet high. And even before then, they had serious concrete underneath. So he was just looking at
is this how it's done?
Is this how it's
done?
So you see this kind of thing. I don't want us to just focus on this video, because this actually goes across many projects.
Of course.
Because I remember there was a time I called commissioner, one of the commissioners. I complained about my Dia Street from like forever since I was a little child. That road has never been done. As a child, they just tried to plaster something over it. And I called him, he said, Morel, we have actually assigned that road to a contractor. He gave me the name of the contractor to know that, listen, this job, so the name of the contractor is there, and you go there, they post their details there. So you can follow, the road is being done, and I can see, and I'm monitoring it, and they're doing it well. But I'm just saying that the fact that we must begin to hold these contractors responsible. So the government to do one part of commissioning. The person that could give this the person that gave this person the job has given the job. Expect that you got, because there are many things to commission. So the government to do their own part, but you, the people, you, the citizen, you are the contractor. It's that contractor that did that, not the government man.
Yes,
but the contractor.
Can I say something?
Yes.
Can I say something? Sorry. If you give somebody a contract, you must follow. You must.
Of course, they are monitoring agents. Of course, they are monitoring agents. Yes.
And the contractor, because he too is a cheat, for even collecting the contract in the first place, must be a cheat, because you want to do
he did kickback. He did kickback.
Kickback. I will give you that road that Fashola did, or that Ogba Road, College Road.
Yes, I remember.
That road has been there for 8, if not 10 years.
I remember the road.
You go there, not one
pothole.
One.
See, you are taking us there. Let me just mention, last week Sherry Road was done when I was in the university. We waited for the governor, because it was an opportunity for us to even see him up close. It was Governor Fashola at the time, for him to come and commission that road. And the rumor was that he said he would not commission that road because he feels that the quality of work that should be done was not done. You know, reached 6 months. I was going to school that day. The traffic was killing us. The road that caved in at Officers Village.
Wow.
Because they say he came for inspection and was saying, this place is a water run. I was wondering, even a lawyer, how does he even know about road? And then he refused till today, because the contractors were forced back to site. You don't have such issues on last week Sherry Road till today. He did a quality job there, and he, as the governor, said, I will not have this road commission. The contractors will continue to maintain this road since this is the standard of work. That is what we require of governors. Now, this, what's his name? This senator, honorable, that is the client for this job, Honorable Patterson, is the closest to federal government. You yourself, if you cannot go and look at the road by yourself, your community people, where is your community constituency office? All those things that they claim, they are sitting somewhere in Abuja. I'm trying to get photo ops, just let my people see that I'm doing something for them. Put a placard, what's it called, a signpost somewhere with my name on it as the client. Yeah. But are you concerned about the kind of life that these contractors will give your people?
Yes, sir.
A contractor of that style should never be giving contracts in his life.
So I think we need to start looking at solutions now. Everybody's waking up, so we can't take shady jobs anymore from government. We will hold you accountable. And one of the ways that you're going to do this for us, if you are really sincere about giving the best to your people, is to ensure that when such things are brought to the fore, those contractors are prosecuted. You arrest them. Yes. They are It's like when you do a short job in your office, they sack you. They send you away. So you prosecute them. You send them to let them have jail term. So that you know that when you're taking a government contract, you will do it well.
Let me go on a break. When we come back, I'm told that our lawmaker would like to say a word or two. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Good morning. Mr. Honorable Peter Patterson will be joining us right now. Good morning, sir. Are you there?
Yes, good morning, madam. I'm here.
So you are the culprit in this matter. So we're so happy to have you on the show. So tell us about this project. We told that you are the one who commissioned this job for your constituency. Could you give us a clarity on exactly what happened?
Okay. It is true that I facilitated the project. It's a road project for Igara in my constituency. The funds were appropriated in the 2020 budget year. And the project has been awarded in tranches. The first tranche and the second are done, and the third one is the one that is ongoing. I got that message, and then immediately I contacted the agency that awarded the contract. The duty to supervise is a collective responsibility of both the agency, ourselves, that is my office, as well as my constituents. We were able to supervise the first and second tranches when the work was ongoing. After that second tranche, the third one did not come immediately, but however, it came recently and mobilized the site. Since they resumed this third tranche, or the last phase of it, I have not been home to inspect. However, we have people at home who have been doing inspection while they were working. When we saw that video, I was personally taken aback because I never got any report from my people showing that the work done in that place was shoddily done. So I was totally surprised to see that. Immediately, I placed the call across to them, and my team on ground, went down there to do, their own check and came back to me. Whereas I appreciate, the effort of my constituents to follow up any job that we're doing, I am not in a position just now to accept ability for those claims that that young man made in the video. Because the report that I'm getting contradicts, his own claims.
Can I come in there?
Yes. So, are you there?
Yes.
Yes. The report you're getting, it was a video we saw, and he was picking. Hold on, he was picking the tar. He was picking. He was breaking the. He was showing the cement that it was shoddily done. Now, is it that your team have not done the right job, and if you find out your team haven't given you the right report, are you going to sack them? Now, and at this point, you need to go yourself.
Again, the job is not being done by my team. This is how it works. Legislators facilitate projects and put them in the budget.
Yes.
they must be domiciled in an agency of government.
Yes.
And the one in this question is Rural Development Department of the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development.
Right.
So the agency awarded it to one Royal Jeff company.
Okay.
And that is the company that is carrying out the job.
All right. Okay.
My people don't execute job because they don't, also they are not contractors. So it is the contractor that is executing the job.
Yeah.
What my people do is to, from time to time, go and inspect and see what is going on in the place.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So what the issue of shortage job, you know, is a thing that we all work to ensure that doesn't happen.
Okay, let me get a few more questions
I told you in the first and second phases,
Honorable sir, Wike's question wasn't about who's doing the contract. I think her question is for those giving you your eyes on ground, if they are giving you the right report, because we know you're a busy person, you're busy in Abuja. Your eyes on ground cannot contradict a video evidence of what is on ground. This young man did a video that showed obviously that those drainages don't have concrete and they don't have pillars, they don't have iron rods to build the right kind of drainage that would last longer for your people's own care. You know, your concern is your people and your constituency. That's what our question is. So if your team give you a feedback that contradicts, that is counterproductive to what your goal is, are you not going to sack them and, you know, replace them with people that are sincere with you, sir?
That issue does not arise just now because my people are giving me the right report. But let us concentrate on the issues that he raised.
Right.
The portion, the preliminary report that I got from my people at home is that the 300 meters work that the contractor was given to does not extend to the point where the man went to puncture the cement work. Contractors work with BOQ. The BOQ that was presented to me yesterday is what I am speaking about just now. That space that you see him operating at is outside the BOQ. What happened is this, according to the explanation. When they finished the job up to the 300 meter that was awarded them, the drainage did not empty into the slope where the water can flow out properly. The community then intervened and pleaded with the contractor to assist them in their community effort to take the water flow out of that place, in which case they had to do some, self-help work, but the contractor, men on ground, joined them in doing that work to flow it out to the slope. If you look at the video very well, you see what I'm talking about. So that is the portion that, he's talking about. According to the contractor, the work that they have been given does not, include that part of it.
But obviously, okay, point taken.
Part of the job.
So point taken. But the truth is, based on this video, sir, this community obviously needs drainage help. So isn't it the appropriate thing for the contractor?
I will appeal you let me conclude what I was saying.
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, the job was right ongoing when that young man went to that place.
Okay.
The mortar, that cement was very fresh.
Yes.
When he got to that place. And so whatever he did while the job was ongoing, I'm sure you people must have seen in the video that the workers were around with their tools working. And he harassed them out of that place before proceeding to go and, damage the work they were doing instantly. At that moment, they were doing the job. That is what I have also seen in that place, and that is the explanation that I got.
Okay, all right. Well, we expected that there will be metal. There will be some kind of a frame for the cement. So when somebody just pulls down the cement and the mud, it's like it was surely
even if he interfered at the point of work, what he pulled out did not contradict what he was saying. He did not show any rod. He did not show any concrete. What he pulled out was cement placed on mud. It should concern you, sir.
I am concerned. I'm concerned about the quality of work.
Yes.
I am very concerned about quality of work, and I personally do inspect sometimes, and I insist that the right thing must be done. But first of all, I'm giving you a report of the situation on ground.
Right.
Now, back to the issue of quality, I can't accept a substandard job, and I've never done that.
Right.
You understand me? So, but when somebody goes somewhere, you go to a point that is not part of the entire job. The issue you will ask is, who did it for what purpose? Is that what is part of what government is paying for?
Right.
If government is not paying for that, and I was not aware of it, I cannot possibly insist on anything after that point that the thing was being done. That is the situation here.
Thank you, Honorable.
But to the main job proper, I think that it is important that we look at the road. I'm not sure that the road itself is as shoddily done as it's been as it's currently telling people.
All right,
the road, from the feedback I got, it's not that bad, but it's ongoing, and we will insist that the right thing must be done. Where there ought to be road, there must be road. But anything that is outside that, I can't take responsibility for that.
Okay.
And I'm sure that the agency will speak to you people about where they ought to, where their BOQ covers and what ought to be done in such areas. If we find out that the contractor is doing anything short of that, of course the necessary sanctions to be meted out to the contractor. Right. I am also reliably informed that the contractor has not been paid for any job done, both the first and second tranches. And so, if he does anything that is not proper, definitely he will be punished because his money is still with the agency. They will not pay him until he does the right job.
All right.
And I have sent my delegation also to go there and make sure that when they resume work, whatever they are doing must be thoroughly monitored.
All right. Thank you very much, Honorable Akpatak. And the fact that you agreed to come on the show this morning is a demonstration that you had the right intentions. We just hope that your eyes on ground are giving you the correct reports. And we hope that if the contractor is found guilty of this, he's appropriately punished for what he has done. Thank you very much for joining us. We're going to go on a break now. We'll come back, move on to other topics. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So yesterday, the Southern Governors Forum meeting was held, and they came to quite a number of agreements, which we discussed during the paper review. One of which was that the next president must come from the South. And they also said quite a few things on the electoral process, especially with the new bill that we're trying to get the National Assembly to pass this July. What are your thoughts on exactly the issue of electoral process? You can call us on 081-270-53687. You can also call us on 901-390-76948. You can also send us messages. We're concerned about the few things they mentioned, and I'd like to read some of it to you. One that stuck out to me was the fact that they want a cap on the nomination forms. You know how different parties, 50 million, 20 million, they said there should be a uniform cap on the cost of nomination forms from political parties. They're asking that the electronic results from polling unit centers must be to a dedicated server. They're also saying that reducing the net spent on elections, asking a senatorial candidate to spend 1.5 billion is putting money over service. And for a presidential candidate to be able to spend 15 billion is selling your democracy for money. They also said that they must return the electronic system into the bill. Okay, so we're going to be having our guest who's going to be joining us to shed more light on how best, because we know that this month, we're told the National Assembly will be passing this new bill, the amended bill. And we'd like to hear what are the things we want to be in this bill. Our guest, I'm told, is not yet here, but I'd like to hear your thoughts on, Nima, would you like to start your thoughts on what the governors agreed at the meeting concerning the electoral process?
One of the things that they agreed about was, the Electoral Act, the removal of the electronic transmission from the Act. We had looked forward to this amendment for accents. At the time it was done when the president returned it for certain amendments at the initial stage before the last elections, and it wasn't done. And this was a major part of the Electoral Act amendment at the time. So now that they have passed it into law, and that integral part that allows, for certain people to carry a much more number of people was taken out. Also, the diaspora community are not given an opportunity, if the electoral transmission of results and electoral voting is not included, to join this vote. So for me, that worries me. And I like the fact that the governors are speaking. But I would love that the governors, because they are governors, use their reps in the lawmaking agencies. So we have our senators, 3 for each state. We have number of local governments, or number of honorables per, I think 700 or something of them in the House of Reps that we need to push to achieve the change that we need. So I think the governors should now start to individually invite their representatives in the National Assembly to do the right thing. This act, I don't know how it was passed. I don't know how the voting was done. Of course, we know that there's no balance in the numbers because some states have too many local governments that they don't, have people to reflect. And we need to start to call them to question. So I think that's what they should do beyond this communique that they have released. Also, the communique from the Governors Forum in Delta State and this one in Lagos, I just have a few differences.
Okay, let me come to Nibisi. What are your thoughts on what was
electoral reforms? Yeah. So, the excitement initially was the fact that we'll have a lot of youth participation when it comes to being able to vote electronically and results counted. But I really do not understand the fear of our leaders by taking that out of it. So it's a bit discouraging. And I also would have loved to see, independent candidacy as part of what has been put into these new electoral reforms. Because, not every, we say we want young people to get into power, but not every young person can afford to even buy the tickets in the political party. So if you now give room where it has to be done with money, whether it's 1.5 billion or whatever it is, it's going to limit a lot of people from getting into, that political space. Okay. So for me, I think the reform should include more. I think we have not really scratched it. We really want to change. I'm told that
our guest, actually, there's a protest going on right now at the National Assembly, and our guest is right there with our reporters. Hello, sir, are you there? We're going to link up to them right now.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you clearly. So we hear you're at a protest at the National Assembly. Could you tell us what's happening right now?
So what is happening right now is that Nigerians from all walks of life are right here, stating that the Senate President and the Speaker of the House of Representatives must do the right thing. They must do the right thing by the Nigerian youth, by the Nigerian women, by our girls, by our elderly, and for the history and for our hero stars.
Okay, so that's our guest, God bless Otubere. He's actually right now at the National Assembly protesting. One of the things that the governors had agreed was that Section 135 of the Act that allows for defected elections to stand as valid must be removed, and that must be amended. So they're saying that because right now we have a lot of people going to the courts to defend certain malpractices that happen, and according to Section 135, these defected votes can't stand as valid in the course of things. So we can have our guest back. Mr. Otubere, are you there? So we have him back.
I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes. So let me be clear. I would really like you to move away from where you are so we can hear you clearly. Is that possible?
Okay, that's very possible. So let me move a little bit forward.
Yes.
Is it better?
It should be better, I hope. So I think I wanted to be clear. Okay. Are you in solidarity with the position of the Southern governors yesterday on what they were asking concerning the electoral reform?
Absolutely, absolutely. We have been on this road for the last 2 years. We've dedicated our lives, our resources, our energy, just to ensure that results coming out of Nigeria's elections are not rising like Gary anymore. I cannot vote in Ikosi. And before it gets to INEC headquarters in Ikoyi, my 200 that I saw will now become 2,000. And let me say this, what the Southern governors did was not for themselves, was for the North, was for the South, was for the East, was for the West. Because the truth is this, how do we say it to the world? that in 2021, Nigeria will still conduct election in 2023, and we cannot transmit those results electronically. It is an aberration that our generation will not take. So on the issue of electronic transmission of results, I'm in solidarity with the Southern governor. Loud and clear.
Right, so what is your objective right now at the National Assembly? Who do you hope to see and hope to meet? Because I see cars passing behind you. Have you seen any lawmakers so far? Do you hope to see anybody? Or you're just protesting and hoping to get some kind of attention from the media?
So what we're doing today is what we call the last mile advocacy. We are not trying to see anybody. We have seen them one-on-one. We've seen them at the public hearing. We saw them at the committee stage. We saw them at the harmonization stage. We saw them at the constitution review stage. We had conversations with them. We drank water. We dined. And they promised us that this country's election will become better because of what we are working on. Today is not about seeing them. Today is about getting the Nigerians who voted for them to come to their office, to tell them that they will not sleep, they will not rest. So what has happened today is that today we put out a call to everyone. And Aisha Yusufu is here. I think I saw Bejiabe and Drew. I saw Aria. I saw a lot of people.
Right.
People who don't agree politically are together here today saying one thing.
Right.
Transmit results electronically.
Okay.
And let me say this, Moradeo. How can you tell me that the president can spend 15 billion to have an election in this same country? Where to get people? Look, let me show you. Look at security men behind me, everywhere, in solidarity. The pain in this country is palpable, and everybody is feeling it. So I really do not want to say too much.
Yeah.
We didn't come here to see anybody. We came here to make our position.
Let me get in a few more questions in for you. God bless. Let me get a few more questions in for you. Go ahead, MPC.
So what do you think is the solution going forward? Do you have like a template of what you want adjusted in this electoral bill?
Absolutely, we have it. Okay. We have brought out specific sections of this bill that we want the National Assembly to ensure does not change. Let me take you people through the history of our work. This bill has been coming since 2020. In fact, the Kalaki-led Senate started this bill, but the president in his wisdom said it was too close to the election, and that was correct. Now, what has happened is that this bill has gone through first, second, third reading. It has gone through the harmonization, has gone through the committee stage, and we have the version of the bill that should be passed. What has happened is that some rogue members in the committee put out another version that they want to pass, and that is what we are saying no to. So the changes we want are in section 50, subsection 2, section 65, subsection 1, section 135 all the way down, section 88, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The biggest of all is section 50, subsection 2, that says that election results from the polling unit should be transmitted electronically. The reason is this, so that when I vote at my polling unit, and the PO and everybody in that polling unit sees that the result is 200, I can go home sleeping, knowing well that I never announce 200. Not that when I get home, what I saw at 2.
Right. Point taken. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. God bless. I mean, I think we've gotten the point very clearly. Thank you so much, and we just wish you the best in Abuja right now. That's Mr. God bless Otubere as a social commentator on the issue of electoral reform. Let's go on a break. When we come back, move on to other topics. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're still on the issue of this electoral reform, and the protesters have made a few valid points. You know, they want Nigerians in diaspora to be able to participate. They want the laws to change such that you have it a bit more uniform. So people know this amount that it costs for us to get the forms. They also want it such that it's electronic. Everything is automated these days. So why would we still be counting ballots, book papers at this time? 1, 2, come on. It's 2022.
2020.
2021.
Where is that edge?
So the point is, like, they are making a valid point, and we're hoping that this bill that they're about to pass must include these reforms. If not, the people are saying they're rejecting it. What are your own?
I don't understand why the lawmakers are so opposed to this.
You don't think
no, let me. Their fears that I've heard is that, you know, there'll be more possible rigging and all of that. But we are now writing exams, you know, and the mistakes that JAM made in the first year of CBT exams is not what they're doing. Those mistakes are taken care of. So we will have our teaching period, but we will get there. But we will have to start at some point. We can't keep saying, no, we'll perfect without starting. You know, let everything be perfect without starting, because we continue to disenfranchise a large number of Nigerians whose monies we need for development here. Every time when we need it, we have a group for them, diaspora Nigerians, that will now come for that. But when they need to join their mouth in what is happening at home for us to see the change that we need, we say no. Electronic voting is the way to go. There's we can't continue to even dilly-dally about it. Whatever we need to do now to perfect our own cyberspace, our internet and everything here should have already been done since 10 years ago. And we're already doing it in certain areas. Nigeria has one of the most perfect electronic system of banking around the world. Yes. They continue to refer to us in that area of banking. But we don't want to refer to ourselves as Africa's giants when it comes to that area of leadership.
Which electronic banking?
Electronic banking. The way you take your mobile banking and do your mobile banking is not the same around the world.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Very sure.
Yes.
They continue to recommend Nigeria. Yes, I'm telling you.
Please.
YK.
Look, I suffer from the bank. I suffer from bank problems. So don't even bring that one.
Me and you are not suffering the same suffering.
Maybe because you're not updated yet.
Updated to where?
Could be.
Where do you want me to update to again?
So,
they will use POS. You won't see the money. How can you say you will be calling the bank? They will say, oh, we have problem. Wait, what?
We are more modern. I think that's just where.
More modern where?
A different generation, ma.
No. Listen.
No,
If you want to talk about election, talk about election. Don't bring back. That's what I'm saying.
I also made an example of our exams. Okay. Our CBT and online exams are already at where we need them to go. So we cannot continue to scatter this particular part of electronic voting and say it can't work. And we need to start somewhere.
Godwin has holding for a while. Godwin, are you there? Godwin, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning.
Morning.
Yes, I wanted to comment on this, what they are saying. I mean, the man who defended... Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, thanks so much for your contribution to the development of this country.
Thank you, sir.
Because you are doing that in your own way. That is the only way. That is where you have your power to do it. I commend your efforts.
Thank you, sir.
The man who defended the road project, you know, when you talk to Nigerians, as if everybody are dollars. They don't have sense. You are saying the road was scoped, and they wanted the people who scoped it, didn't scope it to get to where it's supposed to flow into a drainage. Is that correct? Can that be correct? Are you talking to fools? We are not talking to fools. It's just that young man is paying to his heart. He's not doing it for one person. He's not doing it for himself. How can you come out, you and partner, to come tell the entire world that his job was scoped by a qualified engineer to repair a road, to prepare a drainage for a road, and
Oh, Mr. God, we lost that call. Thank you so much for your thoughts on that.
Yeah, going back to the electoral reform that we're talking about, I think the Nigerians need to understand, our leaders need to understand that the world has changed. It's changing very fast, and we need to upgrade ourselves. So this is not the time to keep dwelling on analog. You know, everything is going computerized, and we need to go with it if we really want true development for our nation, or else the other nations will leave us behind. That's one. Secondly, when you propose a bill to lead people, and they say this is not how we want to be led, it would be unfair not to listen to them. So we have agitations at the National Assembly now saying that we agreed on something and you people went back, reneged on it, and changed certain things to suit yourself. Now, what is even the fear of this electronic? You don't want us to see the results. People are saying that because they do the, manual rigging and all of that, it will be difficult to do it when it comes to electronics, because as you are dropping, you'll be seeing the results. Like when you take polls and all of that, you'll be seeing it openly. So it's going to affect them, especially after they spent so much money trying to get to that position, and we know how these things work. But we need to understand that the leaders need to understand that the people do not want this. They want you to make everything clear. They want you to, adopt other people's transparency, people in diaspora. So give it to them. I expect them to call for another public hearing. Let us now analyze, what do you people want? How can we do it better? Right. If you need solutions, if you need experts to analyze for you and say, okay, if we start it like this, it's going to work like this, let us have a public hearing on this.
So I think we also have to make that clear it up a bit, because electronic voting is there from electronic transmission of results. Yeah. So what they're agitating for is electronic transmission of results. Yeah. Because right now, we've not even gotten that level where we are electronically voting. I mean, we know in America where they're saying those that are abroad can vote. We never reached that level. Where we are right now, okay, we'll vote, but let the results, like I say, it's 200 here. I don't want to now get, that time is now 2,000. So let it be electronically transmitted such that the results are uniform and we know that there's no
discrepancy. Where the entire electoral body officials, like the one where the prosecution we have recently in the state, I think Benue State, entire electoral body, from the resident electoral commissioner to all the organs that worked during an election, prosecuted and convicted. We don't want such corruption. So if I'm collecting results in any place and we're uploading it immediately, let it be received on a server that everybody can access just by checking. You know, the way we can fact check things, we can do that immediately. Also, there's a requirement of this present elections. Sorry, what's the INEC doing now? Registration for new voters that requires a phone number in Nigeria for you to to register online. I think that requirement should be softened to allow people outside the country also to register.
We're going to wrap up with this, but I think we've made our points. We'll all await the bill. Hopefully, it contains all Nigerians are agitating for, so that at least there's a semblance of democracy in our process when we do have elections. Let's go on a break. It's Tuesday. We can't but talk about health. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So, Nigeria has one of the world's highest maternal mortality rates, with close to 1,000 deaths in every 100,000 births. Joining us on the show is a public health practitioner and the program coordinator of Saving 1 Million Lives program for Results, and also the child health coordinator in the Lagos State Ministry of Health, Dr. Mazidat Erinosho. Welcome to the show, madam.
Good morning.
Good to have you back.
My pleasure.
We enjoyed it the last time, so we're happy you're back again.
Thank you so much.
So this issue of maternal mortality, almost year in, year out, we have to have this conversation. Okay. Has there been any improvement would you say, in the efforts the government is making to reduce this rate in Nigeria?
Thank you, Murayo, for that question. There's been a lot of improvements on the part of the Lagos State government. As we all know, the Lagos State government is actually committed to improving the health-seeking behavior of the citizenry. And part of the initiative that the Lagos State government came up with, precisely in 2007, is the Maternal Newborn Child Health Week. Now, in Lagos State, we commenced in 2007, basically to ensure that women, children, as well as newborn, actually come to the health facilities to access care. Because we realized that there's a high patronage of women with the traditional birth attendants. Yeah. And we know how people will go to the TBs. But what we are saying is let the traditional birth attendants be registered with government, such that they will be able to know their limits. And what are their limits? For a woman that comes to their center, comes to deliver at the traditional birth attendant's place, and this woman starts bleeding, and the woman that is supposed to have delivered within a pace of 6 hours has not delivered. So those are telltale signs for this TBA, the registered TBA, to know that I need to refer this woman. These are all measures that government had put in place to ensure that come and register with government. If we're registered with us, they're going to undergo some form of training, training for them to know the danger signs of pregnancy. There are key danger signs for a woman to actually know that, oh, I think there's a problem with this pregnancy. One of them is she start having severe headache, she start having vaginal bleeding, and she basically has a prolonged labor. She doesn't deliver on time. So Lagos State government now came up with this initiative in 2007, which is the Maternal, Newborn and Child Health Week, basically to give women and children the opportunity to access health care. But we now realize that, then it was actually tagged the Child Health Week. So in 2010 precisely, the Federal Ministry of Health also adopted the Maternal, Newborn and Child Health Week. It's a biannual event whereby you have women bring their wards to the health facility. Presently in Lagos State, we have about 312 primary health care centers in Lagos State. And there's none of this PHC that you get to that you will not be able to actually access maternal, newborn and child health care. Now, we now realize that the adolescents have been left out. The adolescents are 10 to 19 age group. And this is a very vulnerable
What do they
group.
have to do with
Yes, because we realized that during the heat of the COVID-19 pandemic, there were a lot of reported rape cases. And as we speak, we had over 3,000 reported rape cases in Lagos during the heat of the COVID-19 pandemic. So, and we now, the adolescent component was now integrated into it because we felt the adolescents are young adults. The way you will talk to a 3-year-old toddler, you will not talk to an adolescent like that. They need to be respected and they need their privacy. So Lagos State, in its might, actually came up with some adolescent and youth-friendly centers. These centers basically are for those adolescents to come to those facilities to access care. If they go to our regular primary health care centers and they see maybe the mother of, a friend of their mom actually sees them in those PHCs saying, oh, Kilo HMB, you've come to access family planning services, they are embarrassed. They are young adults, and they actually should be given that respect. So Lagos State now actually came up with some adolescent and youth-friendly centers where we have some designated sites of this, we call them the ARS centers, where they can actually come there. They get information as regards family planning, as regards abstinence, as regards, okay, yes, you want to have sex, but it must be protected. We realized that during the heat of the pandemic, there were a lot of unwanted pregnancies. Most of these adolescents were victims of rape. And so the Lagos State government about 2 months ago also opened the Idera Sexual Assault Center. This is actually in General Hospital Alimosho, where basically victims of rape, samples will be taken from them, they take their specimen and they take it for forensic analysis. And the essence of this basically is for them, we're now saying, oh, even beyond you coming to those centers, there are actually a hotline that has been designed. It's a toll-free line, which you can actually call within the confine of your home. It is 08000 333. So with this number, any adolescent that has been victimized, has been sexually abused, emotionally abused, because there are different forms of abuses. We actually focus more on sexual abuse. But emotional abuse, physical abuse is all there.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. So now that you mentioned adolescents, I'm quite interested. Because I realize that a lot of young people do not understand how to take care of their bodies, which leads them to have infections that may end up to lead up to infertility by the time they get married and are ready to have children. So in this plan for adolescents to have somewhere they can come in for their privacy, is there a form of training on how they can better take care of themselves as women?
Yeah, thank you so much. We have, in the Adolescent Youth and Friendly Centers, we have about 6 centers in Lagos State presently, and we actually plan to scale up more of this. So we have counselors in these centers that are actually training the adolescents when they come. They train them, one, on their health, their eating lifestyle, because you realize the girl adolescents wants to be fit and trim. And they're actually picky eaters. They pick at food, they eat junk foods and all that. So we have counselors that have been trained that will actually train these adolescents when they come to these centers, and also on their menstrual hygiene, because it is very key. For most, I've been to a community where basically it was their first time of seeing sanitary towel. And they actually realized that when we asked them, what exactly do you use? And they said, we use cloth. Yes, that's what they have. That's what they can make do with. But we need to actually let them know how to take care of these things. Because hygiene is very key, especially for the adolescent girl child. Because we realize that if they are not, they don't actually ensure that they maintain good personal hygiene, it can actually result in pelvic infection, which can result in infertility later in life when they start having children.
So how many of these centers do you have around Lagos?
We have basically about 6 adolescent youth and friendly centers. We have in Elo Lagos in Lasso. We have in Songo PHC in Agege. We have in Akere Primary Health Care Center in Ajeromi Felodun. We have in Ogudu PHC.
You tell secondary school students that these things are available. Do they know?
Yes, they do, because we actually do peer education in secondary schools. Okay. And they actually are aware of these centers. Not just public schools. We have engagement with private schools as well.
Okay. I wanted to ask something. You said if you're one of the causes of child mortality, when you're having birth mortality, is the long labor. How long must the labor not be?
Okay. When you have labor that is actually prolonging, a woman goes into labor now, and you expect her, oh, she actually came into labor at about 6 a.m. And I'm expecting this woman to have delivered, good or take, within the next 6 hours. You expect her to have delivered if she's able to pull through. And we realize it's actually for those young moms. That is the teenager who is getting pregnant for the first time. She doesn't know the wherewithal of how to take care of pregnancy because she herself is a child that needs to be taken care of. So we now realize that once they are having these signs, the woman keeps going, is in labor, there's so much discomfort. And she cannot pull through within a pace of, within 6 hours. We don't even let it get to 24 hours. Because one, the child will be distressed, the baby will suffer in utero, and when the baby comes out, they come up with perinatal asphyxia, meaning this baby will not cry after birth and they start spanking for those centers where you don't have a skilled birth attendant. That's why we're saying for every delivery, we must ensure there's a skilled birth attendant. And who is a skilled birth attendant? A skilled birth attendant is that individual that has been trained on taking delivery of the newborn. So we're now saying this TBA, yes, we know how people will go to you, but for crying out loud, try and integrate and get engaged with government. If you are registered with government.
Can I ask you a question? You see, when we bring all these Lagos State people, Lagos State is Lagos State. We know Lagos State obviously is working to some extent. Are you partnering with other states? I mean, is there a group where you're talking to your counterparts across the country, where you are sharing knowledge, you're sharing expertise, you're also volunteering your time and knowledge to these other parts that need your help even more than Lagos State does?
Thank you, Morayo. Lagos State, as we all know, good thing you said when you bring us on air, we say so much, but basically, we do a lot of partnership with other states. They take a cue from us. Presently now, we have the Adolescent Youth and Youth and Sexual Reproductive Health team. They are actually having a workshop presently in Sheraton, where you have youths have actually come to engage us in the ministry, saying, okay, Lagos State now has, since you have an Adolescent Youth and Friendly Center, you've given us an avenue for us to actually air our minds, our concerns. So we had other states there that is actually collaborating with Lagos State to actually, look at the template Lagos State had adopted and see what they can do in the other states. So it's a key stakeholders engagement that they actually started on Monday. They started yesterday, and it's going to be a one-week event that will run through engagement with other states to see what Lagos State is doing that they can take a cue from. And they can now actually do a model in their states as well.
I had an experience that I think discourages people who are using the traditional birth attendants from accessing, during referral, accessing proper health in the recognized government hospitals. So there's, according to them, and I saw one, if you're not registered at that, let's use a maternal and child hospital, one of the specialized ones in Lagos, for instance, and you're not taking your antenatal clinics there. When you're referred from a TB, when you come there, you're made to pay higher. So let's say the normal required amount is about 20,000 plus for a natural delivery. When you're referred there, you're not made to pay the cost of registration inclusive. So when the words now spread around that, you have to pay double. And if you're unlucky and you had to become a CS case, you're also made to pay for that as well. So it continues to increase the money, and this discourages mothers. This is a candid. So is it a fact? Is it still the status quo? Because I had that experience 4 years ago. And is there anything you're doing to do that to reduce the cost so that people are encouraged during their referral to obey the referral?
Care. Thank you, Nima. Basically, we had this challenge previously, but it was something that the populace raised an eyebrow about, and we felt, okay, there's a need to look into this. Yes, even if the woman is not registered with the health facility, and she's gone to a TBA, she now had a complicated labor, she needs to come to her PHC. Whether she's registered or not, the primary health care centers will take them, and the secondary health facility. Because the important thing is we want to ensure that you've saved the life of the mother as well as the baby.
And cost
is taken, so basically it's being taken care of.
Let me take this call from Additional. Additional, are you there? Hello?
Yeah.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Okay. Thank you, Morayo. I want to say categorically that we appreciate you guys, and you are doing more professional job.
Thank you, sir.
Very investigative journalism. And I would like to talk about the woman about paternity. But I want to say it to everyone in Nigeria. We are not fair to Nigeria. The legislators, they are not doing their own the way journalism are doing their own in our country. It has to be investigative, legislative. It can't sit in Abuja and be talking about something in his locality for people that even voted for him, that made him know the road to Abuja. He can't sit in Abuja and be saying that. And we're not fair to our people and the country we belong to. It's not fair. That's what I want to say about it. It's something that everybody can say that. You're not telling us about the material. You're telling us about workmanship. You're telling us about VOK. You don't even know the scope of work. It's not fair for you to be talking like that. It's something that is, in fact, we that will live.
Thank you, Ms. Additional.
Thank you. Why are you eyeing me on national TV?
I'm not eyeing you.
I didn't see that coming. Yeah. So I wanted to ask, you know, when you said that you have advised, you know, the traditional birth attendants to try as much as possible to register with Lagos State government, and so that if anything happens, they can easily refer.
Yeah.
But sometimes, you know, after having the child, something like the placenta refuses to come. Okay. At that point, do they have, for those who have registered, do they have the mechanism to transport that sort of woman to any state or primary health care center?
Okay, I thank you. I said earlier that for those that have registered with government, they are actually been trained on the danger signs of pregnancy. So what we're saying in Lagos is we don't even want it to get to the level where the placenta is out. So there are key telltale signs that the TBA will see to actually know that, oh, at this point in time, I need to hand off and send to the primary health care center. i.e., the woman gets to the facility, she gets to their TBA site and complains of constant headache. Even once the TBA see a vaginal bleeding, is an indication to refer. For the registered ones with us, they don't actually go beyond their limits. Because we don't want it to get to that point. What if it's in a rural setting where there's actually no device to transport that? So invariably, we ensure that those danger signs, for the trained ones, they strictly adhere to them. And once they see a woman come up with any of these danger signs, they are actually referred on time to the health facility.
Yeah, but you know that sometimes you don't see these things coming. You don't from the beginning.
Just happens.
And it just happens.
Okay, in instances like that, the closest, because they are registered, the closest primary health care center to that facility, they will have informed them. So there's good intercommunication between that registered TBA and the primary health care centers. Once that they don't get to the PHCs and they tell them, oh, you didn't register with us, we can't actually allow you to access care here. So there's that collaboration.
Dr. Mazida, I see too many unqualified, unregistered, so-called chemist nurses deliver babies in ways that scare me, because the situation you're painting, like Bisi was trying to explain, truly should not even happen. What happens in the secondary maternal hospitals, I know, is that you will see that side that the placenta is previa, or whatever they call
placenta previa.
So you prevent, you will not even touch.
Yeah.
But we see this. What is your level of prosecution of, you know, this qualified practices happening around?
Okay, we have an agency that is saddled with our responsibility in Lagos State. That's the Health Facility Management Agency, FAMA.
They're not doing
they are actually doing their best.
Really?
Yes, I'm sure it would be nice for you to actually invite the Executive Secretary of FAMA so that she can actually shed more light on this. Once there's a reported case, they have their checklist, even for a health facility to be accredited. There are criteria. But you realize that in the rural setting and even in the slum communities, you have a lot of TBA sites. You have chemists being used as delivery sites. That's okay, that's the only thing they can access. But we are saying, come, we want to actually reduce deaths of our mothers and that of the unborn child. So there's a need to actually have a structure on ground. And that is why Lagos State Government came on the Health Facility Management Agency that is saddled with those prosecuting process. So they go to those facilities, and once they see that you don't have the standard that is expected for a health facility to be put in place, they lock them up. That's why they bombard us at the Ministry of Health that, oh, yes, I have my papers, you don't have this and all that. But we just have to. If there's no prosecution on ground, people just do whatever they like, and it's actually putting the lives of this vulnerable group at stake.
Okay, for me, my own concern, I mean, might sound trivial, but I'm concerned about the aesthetics of these places. I mean, I always feel to myself, like, am I part of your target market? Because I go there and I'm like, I don't want to have my child here. It is just, it's not, it doesn't just attract people like, so what, is there anything the government is doing to make it more, you know,
I understand
for you now.
That's what I'm saying. I'm asking,
so you can't come and deliver in a PhD.
I would love to. Honestly,
gone are those days.
If I didn't have my children, I would have come to
maybe not
in the primary healthcare centers. Because initially we had dilapidated PHCs where you pass by and it's been overgrown with weeds.
Yes.
So it was during the time of the then governor, Mr. Babajide Raji-Fashola, that there was revitalization of primary healthcare centers.
Yes.
And you now have a situation where you get to PHCs and people are asking, is this a primary healthcare center?
I haven't been to one. The one I've been to is because sit down when I was going to do injection. Is that what the PHC?
You got your COVID vaccine.
That's the PHC. I'm right here.
The upgrade in my jaw encouraged me to vaccinate my children. All of them.
I went there for my COVID vaccine. This one here, Aladelola here.
Okay, and when you got there,
we might not be pathetic to things like this.
I used but you got your COVID vaccine.
I used them. I still visited the one in Iba. I visited the one in Iba for June 12 weekend. Just deliberately took my sister-in-law there, and I was able to, and I was just, fortunately for face mask, nobody recognized me, and I observed everything.
The reason why I took my COVID vaccine,
I was nice.
Were you well attended?
Yes. You see, they were professional.
There was delay because they wanted to give an injection.
They were professional. They did their job. They didn't look at anybody's face. They were there to work, and I appreciated that. But it's just that
the scenario.
Lagos State government keeps trying, keeps revitalizing, upgrade of facilities. It's a continuous process. Just to wrap up this, our maternal, newborn and child health care week was actually commenced from the 12th of July to 16th of July.
Is it free?
Yes, for free maternal child health care services. And the flag off is going to be by the First Lady of the State on the 9th of July, Her Excellency Dr. Mrs. Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu. So we are imploring all mothers to please bring out your babies to get immunized. The adolescents will come. We also have women need to do cervical cancer screening. Yes, eligible children under 5. To get vaccinated. And there's also cervical cancer screening. This basically will be done. We have about 40 PHCs that have been designated for free cervical cancer screening.
You seem to love what you do.
Yeah. It's my passion.
Well, you didn't mention whatever center for Amodofin. I heard Ajeromi. I didn't hear Amodofin.
Ajeromi in Akere PHC in Ajeromi. Amodofin, they're working on that. We're working on the one in Bogije. So we'll get there. Don't worry to get there.
The governor's wife is very involved in the Ministry of Health. Is that correct?
Yes, she is. You know, she's a medical doctor, so she has that passion and the drive.
She doesn't, you know, I've
don't worry. If you invite Her Excellency one day, I'm sure she'll find time. No problem. No problem.
Excellency's wife.
You didn't let me read tubes.
Exactly. They didn't let you. They didn't let me ask
questions.
It's because of that. They were talking to him.
Leave our legislator alone, please.
They were talking to him.
Listen, I have to wrap one. Let me wrap one that. You see, this is a lawmaker. Yes, we appreciate our lawmakers to do better. And because he wants to do better, that's why he came on the show. He volunteered to come on the show to say his own side. So let us not chastise him. However, we're giving him feedback that would rather him be home to inspect. That's feedback. So let's not find a way to make it. Have a lovely day. We'll see you tomorrow. Leave Mr. Kwatase alone. We'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is Wednesday, Abi. Bye-bye. See you tomorrow.